Hey, your friendly neighborhood geek here, doing another story time video because I'm in the mood to do another story time. So this one's still kind of like drama oriented. Just talking about my experience in FBLA, which for those who don't know, FBLA is Future Business Leaders of America. Um, when I was a junior in high school, well, I think even before I was a junior, I know when I got to high school, I tried out for other. Um, Later that year, like second semester, I tried out for golf. That was like the only sport I tried out for in high school. Um, but I tried other clubs, like there was a gamers club, art club, photography club. There's some other clubs. There was an anime club. Trying to interact with other people I had who had similar interests as me, and just kind of giving myself something to do outside of just going from home and going to school. On occasion, like the holidays, or on occasion, me and my family we might go to the movies, go get something to eat, go window shopping, etc. But in between all that, like I said, just something to kind of do to wind down, and like I said, try to make connections with other people. So also, and this is gonna be a two-parter. Well, two stories in one video. I said I was gonna talk about my experience with Outback Steakhouse, so let's talk about that one first, because that was not too long. So yes, everyone, get your food, get your drinks, whatever you want to do. You can listen to me talk in the background while you do other stuff, because I don't know how long this is gonna be. Also, I apologize if there's noise in the background. You might be hearing my birds, who have been quiet majority of the day, and then they want to make noise when I decide to record. But anyway, yes. So Outback. This was around, I think, March, April. Yeah, this was around March, which is kind of depressing when you think about it. That was the last time I was employed, like 2 months ago. Um, Again, my options as far as work and employment are kind of limited, and there are some other reasons that I really won't get in too much into. But like I said, right now the job market in my area is kind of limited, so it's kind of slim pickings as far as what you would like to do. So I saw, just out of curiosity, what restaurants, what positions they were offering. Couple years ago, I had an interview with Chick-fil-A, which a friend of my dad's, I believe it was his wife, was like a manager. And basically, out of niceness, they gave me the interview. Of course, I didn't get any feedback. I never, got hired. I don't care. I didn't want to work there anyway, really, because I just that fast paced environment is not for me. And I've learned from a friend of mine, or a former friend, a classmate who worked their way up to be a manager at a Chick-fil-A. They told me how things are done and how they operate, and if you're not moving at the pace they want you to move at, they'll get on you. And I don't want that type of pressure. Like, you already, when you go to work, they have cameras, or they have supervisors, you know, um, checking in on your work and making sure you're on task and all that stuff. So you already have a level of people watching, keeping their eye on you while you work. So I wouldn't want that extra pressure put on me, you know, in that type of environment. So that told me then and there, like, I already knew that the food environment wasn't for me. So that then and there, I was like, yeah, I cannot work at Chick-fil-A. But anyway, only thing food related I could do was a grocery store. I worked at two grocery stores, so yeah. Um, but I applied for the busser position at the restaurant. I was like, okay, that's, bussing tables. Something I know I could do. Like I said, I haven't had much luck with anything else. I've had a bunch of interviews, haven't had luck getting hired. So I was like, all right, let me give this a try. So the day of the interview, I think the store wasn't even informed that I had an interview, which, that could have kind of been poor management. Depends how you want to look at that. The person who interviewed me basically was trying to talk me into being a runner. For those who don't know, a food runner is someone who brings the food to the people's table. Like the waiter and waitress don't do that. The waiter and waitress is, they get your order, they check in on you, they bring you drinks, all that stuff. But the food runner is the person who carries the plate, or hot plate, saucer plate, whatever you want to call it, and takes the food and put it on your table and all that stuff. So that's what I was doing. Um, yeah, so it kind of talked me into it. I was like, all right, that doesn't sound too difficult. Uh, I'll give it a try. So the first day I worked, it was a little. It was like, what's the word I'm looking for? It was. Oh, I can't. This is gonna bother me. I can't think of the word to use. Um, it was intimidating. Yeah, yeah. I think that's it. The environment, the work environment, was very intimidating to someone who's never worked in that type of environment before. Everybody was moving fast and doing their duties or whatever, and I was just kind of there. So the guy who was told to kind of show me around. He was just kind of going over everything. It was just kind of a lot to take in, and supposedly, I think my training was supposed to be like 2 days, maybe. Let me grab my water bottle, real quick. Yeah, water bottle. Um, yeah, I think my training was like supposed to be like 2 or 3 days, and I felt like as the shift went on, or as the night or as the day went on, I kind of felt like, yeah, I can't see myself learning all this stuff in like 2 to 3 days. So the tables are numbered. So there's like a printout of what number the table is, and you have to learn basically. Yeah, you kind of have to learn what table is which in the restaurant. And there was some other things. One of the biggest things, like, there were no breaks. You didn't have any breaks, but you could have as many drinks as you wanted. So say if I wanted a Coke and I'm back there in the kitchen, I could just go to the soda dispenser and make myself a Coke, put it to the side, drink it as many times as I want. The same for bread. Like, they would serve Outback, I believe, serves pumpernickel bread, the brown bread, that tastes really good. I think I was able to eat as much as that as I wanted as well, which was cool. But I think because of the how long shifts were, it was something they said. And my dad is a supervisor for Southwest Airlines. I think he oversees the people who put like the food and beverages and ice and all that stuff on the planes. So he's worked prior to that. He's worked in the food industry before, so he kind of knows the ins and outs of the food industry. And when I shared some of what was told to me, he was like, "Yeah, that doesn't sound right. I never heard of a restaurant doing that." So, there was that as well. There were no breaks. So, like I said, the whole experience for me was just negative. I mean, nothing against, like I said, nothing against the staff or the managers. Um, I mean, they were, yeah, for the most part, cool. I just didn't like that environment, and I couldn't see myself working there, long term. But I stayed the whole night. I didn't walk out. I was like, all right, I'm here. Let me just go ahead and power through the shift, and that's what I did. And the next day, I think I called and talked to one of the supervisors, and I told them, like, I'm sorry, thank you for the opportunity. And she was like, "Oh, I understand where you're coming from." And I explained to her why I wasn't coming back. And at first, she offered me the busser position and maybe another position. And I was like, "Nah, that's okay. I'm good. Like, I don't think I want to work in a restaurant at all." But even before this experience, like, I had respect for people who work in that environment because I know how hard and challenging that can be. So I'm like, yeah, now I know even more from doing it, one time. Um, so the negative aspect of this experience, my hours were not put in. So I called several times. This probably took over almost a month and a half. I called several times inquiring about my check and all that stuff. They kept telling me, "Oh, call back this particular day, call back that particular day." So for luckily, one of the times I was told to call, the person who responded back told me to contact corporate. Corporate, I got in touch with corporate, and they told me, I put in when they put in my information. They told me my hours were never put in. So if I knew that beforehand, I could have probably had my money sooner than, than having to go through all that. Because I was under the impression excuse me, I was under the impression that the people in charge did their job, but apparently they did not. Um, mm, excuse me. So I think it was like $40 and some change. But to me, it was worth it. I mean, that's $40 I could put in my pocket. Like I said, I basically did them a favor. I helped them through the night. I helped, so yeah, you guys owe me the money I made. Um, so yeah, that was Outback. So every time like I drive past that restaurant, I kind of like stick my tongue out at it. or pull up the middle finger or whatever. So, but yeah. So that was that. And like I said, I had an interview with Target. For those who are interested in the job situation, never got feedback. I contacted them. I talked to the hiring manager. She told me that maybe the reason why I may not have got any feedback was because of the hours I put in. I told her, well, I'm free any day, anytime, whatever. Still haven't heard anything back. So I've had 2 interviews with that store and never got any feedback. So it sucks. It was a grocery store I was interested in working in. When I contacted them maybe like a week ago, they only had one position available, and it was a position. Apologize. These notifications are out of the way. It was a position that I did not want to work. So yeah. So back to the drawing board. I don't know. If you hear yelling, I apologize. My brother he's misbehaving. So ignore that if you hear it. I'll try my best to talk over it. Okay, so story number 2. This, like I said, FBLA. This took place junior year, so it was like 2016, 2017. Me and one of my best friends at the time, we were looking to join a new club together. We decided like, okay, we'll check out FBLA because we had some classmates who were already in it. He decided to leave and he joined book club, and he had a lot of fun that year. I'm really mad I'm really mad I didn't join him because I do like reading books. I tend to kind of read books digitally more than the physical copies. But I'm trying to get into collecting the physical books to read. Um, yeah, like I said, he had a lot of fun. Went on field trips, went to bookstores, all types of stuff. I got into book clubs senior year of high school, first semester. But it had a new teacher in charge, and I think there wasn't a lot of people in it. And like I said, I left second semester to do the remainder of my schoolwork online, so I wasn't in it anymore. So I don't know if it got better by the time I left, but yeah. Um, so we joined. Um, I noticed, I think it was because of who was in charge. The teacher in charge was kind of mediocre. I noticed like unless the unless the meetings were in regards to going on a trip somewhere, that's the only time people would actually come and participate in the club. But if it was just something small, like I was part of the arts and crafts committee, so we were trying to do small things to raise money towards the club. We had a Valentine's Day dance. I think we had a movie night at the school. May have had a Halloween. I'm not sure. We may have had a Halloween festival. I think. Yeah. So we tried to do. We attempted to do some fun things, but not a lot of our club members participate in that. Like so, unless it was something like I said, field trip based. That's the only time everybody would participate. So like I said, that was kind of, kind of lame of of our peers. Um, so art committee was me and I think some other people I guess I could say I was friends with at the time, but over time we weren't. They kind of became more of just classmates and not people I wanted to affiliate with. Um, the environment was very toxic, and being young and kind of being immature and sometimes not knowing better. You know, so I mentioned this in one of my relationship videos. I had a classmate who I liked. She kind of didn't really like me back, but she never really like had a conversation with me. Like, I just like you as a friend, and I think that's all we'll ever be. So because of that, even though I kind of knew that she wasn't really right for me, but being young, dumb, and not knowing better, I kept trying to pursue her. And she still, like I said, she still accepted. Sometimes I would give her candy. Valentine's Day came around. I gave her flowers and a bear, and she would accept these things. I mean, none of this was really reciprocated. So yeah, that was like a life lesson for me at the time. So because of what was going on between me and her, everyone else was kind of in our business about it. And like one day, for example, our teacher wasn't there, but we were supposed to have a meeting. So you have these teenagers in a computer lab room with no supervision. Um, so we came, it was me, my guy friend at the time, and the other three girls, I think. One of the three girls was the girl that, I had a crush on, and I think she was leader of the arts and crafts committee. Um, I'm trying to remember. So the meeting was more of an intervention. Like they were trying to like talk to me like so and so is not interested in you, like basically stop trying to pursue her. But it's like I don't need it's like I why she doesn't need you all to speak for her. She's right here. Like talk like she should have talked to me, had a conversation with me, just the two of us to set things straight or tell me how you feel or you don't feel that same way towards me. And you just let them just kind of I won't know if I would say go off. Like towards the end they try to go off, and um I said it was just a very uncomfortable, unpleasant experience. I kind of took the high road. I mean, I don't remember if I like went back and forth too much with them, but I just kind of got up and left, and I went home. I was like, I came here for a meeting, not to have an intervention where it feels like everybody in the room is coming at me. So I left. And later that evening, I texted my guy friend at the time, and I mean, he wasn't really, and he wasn't really my friend, and something kind of happened between us outside of that situation told that truly showed me like, yeah, this person's not my friend, and I don't want anything to do with them anymore. So yeah, he was like, I asked did they do anything, what was the meeting about after I left, and he told me that they just hung around and gossiped about other people, and I'm like, so all that and this nothing productive got done. I remember when I joined golf, one of the people who was one of the friends of the person I liked, who was in the art committee, was like, wasn't supportive and was like, oh, like golf's not a real sport. Just saying silly, dumb, stupid, silly stuff to me. And it's like if you were someone's friend, if you were someone's true friend, you would support them and be like, "Oh, that's cool. You joined a sports team." You know, um, I'm like, yeah, golf is not a real sport. Tell that to Tiger Woods and all the other professional, famous golf players in the world who play golf for a living. Yeah, tell that to them that golf's not a real sport. But anyway, um, so it was that, and I think I mentioned that the female friend I liked slept with another friend of mine. at the time. Uh, so yeah, so I think I mentioned over the summer she asked me like why was I not returning to FBLA, and in my head I was like all the stuff that you put me through and our peers, just doing the most and just being toxic. It's like you really think I'm gonna come back here? Like I'm gonna come back to this club? Like excuse me, no. And I think I mentioned in my relationship video, yeah, I did. The person I liked who caused all this to happen, they're a parent now. And to my knowledge, they're not with their child's father. So, yeah. Not surprised, honestly. But anyway, so it was that. Another situation. This is not about the toxicity part, however you say it. Um, they trying to remember. We were trying to sell tickets, I believe, for the Valentine's Day dance, which flopped, by the way. I mean, we had fun. It was like we spent more money putting it together than actually generating money from it. But I mean, for the outside of my negative uh, LGBTQ experience, also Happy Pride Month for anybody who sees this. Happy Pride Month. Um, Outside of that, and maybe a few other minor things, like I had a good time. I had a good time with that. But anyway, so we were in the cafeteria trying to sell tickets. The student president of the club, who was a senior, it was her lunch period, and she was present. Not once did she ever come to the table and ask us, "Hey, like, what are you guys doing? Or do you need help selling tickets? Do you want me to do anything?" Not once did she ever do that. I think she just kind of saw us, and she may have came over there to us just to see what we were doing, but she not once did she try to help in any way. So that was kind of negative. Um, so yeah, overall, but like I said, it was just a learning experience for me personally, just in regards to dealing with people and, uh, dealing how to deal with toxic individuals and stuff like that. So for anyone who sees this, I'm assuming they have clubs. I don't know. Do they have clubs in college? Tell me. But anyone who's in high school or going to high school, whatever, who may see this, don't be afraid to try new things. I do want to say that. You never know what you might gain from trying something different, or you don't know who you might meet from participating in a after school activity. So keep that in mind. Never be afraid to try something new. Um, Within reason. Never be afraid to try something new within reason. Um, so yeah, I think that's about it. I think I named all the details. I'm not. I think I mentioned most of the drama. There's some other minor things, but I don't really think they don't really add to the overall moral of the story. So yeah, like I said, try to alleviate yourself from a toxic person or a toxic group of people. Try, yeah, yeah, just try to distance yourself from someone who's being toxic towards you or is not being a good friend towards you. Like I said, we all have stuff to deal with. We all have crap to deal with, life to deal with. You don't need extra crap put onto you or brought into your energy. You don't need that. So, um, yeah, yeah. I think that's all I have to say. This video's going on 24 minutes. So, yeah. Next video. I don't know. Maybe a re-review of something in my collection. Um, like I said, I could redo the aerial bots. I might, yeah. I don't do them all individually. Yeah, maybe we'll see. That would be fun to do. Like I said, I'm waiting for this latest wave of Legacy Evolution to come out. I've only bought one Legacy figure so far, and that's the Legacy drag strip. There's a whole bunch of characters I'd like to get, but I only have enough for maybe like two. And the one I really want is in the latest wave, which hasn't came out yet. I feel like it's going to come out in a couple more weeks or a couple more days, because some people are starting to receive certain characters already. So, like I said, DevCon is like one of the characters I wanted the most this year. So hopefully I'll get him soon, and when I get him, I'll do a review on him. But yeah, that's it for this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more. Peace, you guys.